Farah is a strategic partner development manager based in Chicago on Google's travel team, which helps users plan and dream of their next trip. She has worked at Google for a few years in various partnership roles and was at Target beforehand, two places we all love as well, right? She has a passion for cross-functional collaboration and diversity, equity, and inclusion work. Outside of work, she enjoys sourdough bread baking, sounds like a 2020 thing,
Totally.
live music, and biking.
No.
Everyone, again, please welcome Farah.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Thanks, Bob. That was so nice. We're excited to get started, so thanks for having me. So this is me. Bob did a great introduction, so I don't have to go too in-depth, but coming from Chicago, as he said, I'm on the travel team, a strategic partner development manager. So what that means is I'm not on the ads team. I'm on more of the organic product partnerships that have to do with Google Travel. So if you know hotels or flights or things to do, those are some examples of Google Travel products, and we're going to talk a little bit about them as I go on. I also at the end have a QR code if you want to stay in touch. Would love to be able to interact with you all. So I'm going to talk to you for a bunch, but hopefully you can talk back to me later. So let's get started. We're going to talk about these kind of 4 areas today. First is the say-do gap, which is some research that we conducted with Kantar on what travelers do and versus what they say they do. There's kind of 3 areas that we learned a lot about with kind of their effortless experience being really important to them. And those 3 areas that we'll talk about again and again are inspiration, service offering, and transparency. From this research, you know, we learned a lot from travelers, but we only have time for a few, so we'll dive into those 3. We'll start first with what the say-do gap is and kind of what about the research. So the first place we always start when thinking about a new product is with the user, understanding what they need and building products for them. Behavioral insights can make a real difference, obviously, when we're doing this. So why does a traveler choose a certain flight or choose a certain hotel over another one? Is it location? Is it price point? Is it their loyalty program? Or maybe credible reviews? Figuring out what drives that traveler behavior can help us understand these questions and better serve them, the traveler. But there's a crucial issue about how people behave is often different than how they say they will behave. Think, for example, all the people here, myself included, who had a New Year's resolution. Here we are in May. Who has stuck with that New Year's resolution? You know what, I haven't, but that's okay. We just want to learn a little bit more about this difference and really try to get to the root of what people do rather than what they say they're going to do. So at the root of all these examples is, like I said, the say-do gap. The say-do gap is the difference in the attitudes, which are what people say, and behaviors, what people do. So attitudes and behaviors. Understanding what people say about experience elements is relatively easy, obviously. We just ask them, they tell us, and then we'll know. But understanding the behavior, the do, is a little bit more difficult. So this isn't intentional, obviously, and pretty unconscious. People say one thing because what they want to do or how they want to behave, but they often are driven to do something else due to environmental factors or just outside inputs. But decision-making is not always linear. Our behavior comes down to environmental factors, sometimes out of our control. The weather, something we can't control. But these traveler sentiments can change in response to these external factors. So we continuously compromise or rationalize or reassess, often without knowing that we're doing it. So to understand the gap between behavior and attitude, Kantar carried out a special driver analysis which used the Net Promoter Score, which some of you probably already familiar with. But the decades of research has shown us that NPS, which is the likelihood to recommend a product or service to a friend, correlates really nicely with choice or actual behavior. So the driver analysis can determine what experience elements drive NPS to provide an understanding of the behavior that can be compared to the stated importance. So that's what we're really trying to figure out. So in other words, what experiences or experience elements are most likely to drive future behavior? That's really what we are trying to understand. So in order to do this, we conducted this research with nearly 17,000 respondents across 6 countries, here in the US, abroad in the UK, France, Germany, Italy, and Spain. And all of these people that we talked to had traveled between April 2021 and April 2022. So in total, those 35 experience elements were surveyed. We asked travelers about everything from health and safety to seamless booking to loyalty programs and cost. These 35 experience elements were then grouped into 9 experience clusters and then analyzed with Kantar's research expertise. The driver analysis helps show us what drives traveler behavior, and like I said, we won't be able to go into all of them today, but we will highlight a couple of these experience elements. So those 9 insights can grouped into 4 main themes. These 4 insights show what drive travelers' behavior, so both consciously and unconsciously. Kind of these 4 of trust over loyalty, fair value exchange. Surprisingly, they were a little inconsistent on sustainability, but then lastly, effortless experience are really what we're trying to learn and how we can help influence and help them along their journey. So we're gonna dive really deeply into effortless experience today. Travelers are seeking an effortless experience and want to ease the increased work they now associate with traveling. So 40% of leisure travelers say that they now need to invest more time and effort into their trips than they did before the pandemic. And leisure travelers spend 77% of their time in that planning and booking and dreaming stage compared to only a smaller percent of that time, 23% of the actual and post-trip time. So basically, travelers are looking to reduce the friction where the majority of their time is spent, which is planning and booking. So the first kind of portion of that is inspiration. How do they start getting that idea? We found that leisure travelers underestimated the impact of content on their actual booking behavior. While they said inspiring content was less important to them, ranking it 23rd out of all the 35 experience elements, the behavior analysis showed that inspiring content was actually quite important. Does anyone want to guess what it actually ranked in the behavior analysis? What number? Oh, number 1. Ooh, that's pretty high. Anyone else? 4? Okay. You guys understand that it's important. They actually ended up ranking at 7th. That means it's still really vital for travel brands to either align themselves with high quality, aspirational content creators or produce their own content, or probably a mixture of both. No matter what travelers are searching for, each moment is an opportunity to engage with them. Even if you're selling a room reservation or just find opportunities to really highlight these experiences and create inspirational content that people are seeking out rather than simply the basic information. So what we're doing on our side in order to help and assist you all in bringing this more to life is we're investing in kind of the travel experience on Google search for all queries that have travel intention. So what do I kind of mean by that? Which is on the left-hand side, you can see what search results used to look like previously for a query for Paris. You can see all the classic information, a map, photo, Wikipedia, top stories. But we believe that this experience really wasn't inspirational and really wasn't well suited for a traveler. So instead, we launched what you see on the right. So maybe this is more familiar to you. It's much more engaging. It's an interaction point that has beautiful photos, inspiring, relevant content in a more structured way with options and suggestions of things to do. So this new feature you see on the right doesn't sacrifice any of the relevant information that we previously had on the left. We just see that it's more engaging and a little bit more beautiful. So we started to roll this out for cities, but we plan to do this also for other travel categories. So, no matter what a traveler is looking for, they still have a seamless and beautiful, engaging experience. You'll see that we're building these visually forward content throughout the entire journey to help drive discovery and engagement every step of the way. We also have like a new widget-based kind of like snackable results alongside third-party short-form videos that give an authentic feel for what travelers have actually been saying. We used to say that pictures are worth 1,000 words, but now I really think that videos are probably then now worth 1,000,000 words, and something that we're really integrating a lot and working really closely with the Myrtle Beach team in order to influence. So these are all organic videos that are coming from real people that, as someone's looking to come for the first time, we want them to be able to hear from it from either a local or someone who has traveled before. So also with this new modern version of search, we can provide more visual and engaging experiences outside of just the destination query. So it really brings businesses to the forefront and inform travelers on their path to purchase. So brands and businesses have the opportunity to entice travelers by showcasing unbeatable opportunities in the search kind of reimagined for today. So this is an example of what we're doing with lodging. So we're really evolving the experience from what it was on the left to what you now see on the right. So there's just a lot more visual elements. This version of search has the best of both inspiration and then also utility, which is all that classic relevant information. So this one that you see on the screen is already just drawing from existing assets. So there's no really need from anyone here to do something. We are doing this on your behalf through AI to be able to generate from reviews and uploaded photos this new and engaging kind of carousel for this hotel, for example. So those two search experiences I just showed each rely a lot more on rich content, including short form videos. So when I think about people all over the world who are creating videos, both long form and short form, I think about YouTube. You heard about the amazing results that the Visit Myrtle Beach team has seen on their YouTube channel, but knowing that it's the second largest search engine next to Google, it's really a great place to be. We know that 75% of Gen Zers say that they're actively looking for inspiring travel content on most days. And compared to all other generations, they're more likely to get inspired by video content specifically. So today, YouTube reaches almost 90% of travelers over 18, which is why it's more important than ever to think about that YouTube strategy, both long form, but also a big emphasis on short form video. So there's multiple interaction points that a user has with a trip planning and inspiration on YouTube. Being able to speak to them through the educational side with more of long form, or engage really quickly, which we see more people doing with shorts, allows you to showcase your either destination or business in the best light. So we see a combination of both short form and long form leads to the most engaging channels and increase in subscribers. Okay, so the next experience cluster is service offering. So the service offering experience cluster, which includes booking, support, and check-in options, among other things, is a key driver of leisure traveler behavior. It ranks at the top, one of the top 3 most important drivers in both attitude and behaviors. So being able to really not have to worry about if your check-in process is gonna go well, or some of these more tactical things is really important to travelers, no doubt. If you were to show up and they didn't have your reservation or they didn't have your your room ready, you would be not starting your trip in the best light. So we need to focus on this. In other words, the ease in which travelers can book is an important driver of their behavior and cutting down their logistical hurdles, knowing that a lot of the time that they put into it up front, they want to come into effect and be really smooth. So it's good to start to consider what your booking experience is, and so that you currently offer your customers, and so you can help optimize this. This can be obviously applied to many businesses, hotels, restaurants, attractions, more. This is really, the service offering is something that is really a driving force behind how we're innovating our travel experiences across both Google and YouTube, and how we're building solutions for our travel users, but also for our partners. So many of these solutions that you see on the screen have been around for years and are beloved by many. Google products are here for travelers throughout browsing and booking, and we're here to them as they start exploring to places that they're going to travel for. But it really doesn't stop there. We see users coming back to Google to help them decide and lock in their itineraries. So these are foundational products for trip planning and for our team, but really there's much more in the pipeline. Before we go into what's ahead, I'll show you a few highlights of how we've innovated recently and that you can get involved with. So we've improved how we present information about destinations. You can see, as I was talking about earlier, that we have brought more rich content in the first one for destinations. Instead of providing just the pure facts, it's now more visual in an organized and more structured way. We've also invested a lot in our Things to Do platform this past year. So if you're an attraction or a museum, today, if you search a POI, you'll not only see information, but also relevant ticket sources as well to help that user actually make that purchase. And then lastly, more generally for rich content, this is very focused on the short videos that we're really driving on Shorts and other platforms, which I'll go into a little bit more depth. So for all you as partners in the room too, we've continued to expand our free booking links feature. So you might be familiar with this. We've launched it during COVID so that you don't have to have ads in order to drive booking links for hotels, but we've also increased that for Things to Do as well. We also understand that hotels are not the only place that travelers want to stay. That line is really getting blurred, and so we've also created more products for vacation rental inventory into the platform. We are heavily invested in sustainability. I know I said at the beginning that some travelers kind of have different opinions on it. At Google, it's really important to us. So we're a key contributor in an industry-wide carbon emissions model, and we've invested in giving users the ability to make the choice for themselves. In flights, for example, be able to sort and filter flights results based off of total carbon emissions. And then finally, as users are investing more time in trip planning, we are now sourcing room information to show it right on the hotel overview to give you a sense of what to expect and to generally ease their booking journey. Being able to show users what to expect and how much to pay is critical in all this. So price accuracy is really important to us so that a user can kind of trust what they're seeing and then be able to make the right decision. We've expanded also, like I said, that free booking link options for hotels and Things to Do partners, allowing for a direct feed to show in real time rates and availability on Google, and to send users directly to your booking site. If this isn't something you're already familiar with, I'd highly recommend getting started. It truly is us just trying to help you get more organic reach and find new travelers. And then lastly, for hotels, we have the ability to show how you are committed to sustainability if you are with this eco certification badge. So from our research, we know that sustainability has a varying degree of importance, but offerings like this gives the opportunity to a traveler to kind of make the best choice for them when reviewing lodging options and letting them know that you care about it and that you reach certain criteria in your sustainability journey. So from what we know, there's a shift in consumer behavior, which is a driving force behind what we're doing and innovating on the travel experiences across both Google and YouTube, and how we're building solutions for you, our travel partners. So travel remains a priority in terms of discretionary spend. We know that pent-up demand is a real thing, and that we are seeing strong indicators that people are planning major life moments that were put on hold previously. For example, we know that 38% of international leisure travelers say that they are more likely to plan or book a once-in-a-lifetime trip than they ever were before. So Stewart's focus on the international market, there's a little good news for you. Secondly, as we were talking about this whole time, they're investing a lot in planning their trips. So because they're putting in a lot of effort, they want to make sure that once they arrive, everything is thoughtfully curated and chosen to their liking. So putting in a lot of effort and wanting to be able to help them along that way. Third, inspiring content is winning over travelers, especially with the next generation. So in general, seeking inspirational and visual content can have a huge influence on a destination choice. Today's traveler doesn't just search and expect a few blue links. Obviously, we seek out this inspiring content, and they really connect with the creators that they're following, and they really get inspiration from videos that have maybe itineraries or a fun destination or show rich imagery about where they might stay. This is especially true not only for Gen Z, but also for millennials like myself. They're most eager to travel again and consider travel to be vital. So Gen Z is the first generation to have fully grown up with the internet, as we know, and the way that they navigate and interact online keeps evolving, so will we. The most relevant platforms for this are really the most visual ones. Meeting their ever-changing needs is something that we're really trying to do in new and innovative ways rather than just copying what they already expect. And then lastly, loyalty doesn't quite look like it used to be. So there's a significant group, especially among the younger travelers, who are less loyal and more open to trying out new brands. This means that the competition to win back customers and also gain new travelers will be very high, giving that the travel brands and also giving travel brands kind of a second chance to make a first impression with those who maybe haven't stayed with them before. So travelers want to build relationships with brands that meet their expectation for a seamless and personalized travel experience, and also give them kind of best-in-class service. So leveraging multiple digital channels can help you solve travelers' needs and put inspiring content kind of in front of your audience. This inspiration can drive travelers to achieve the dream that you're showing them via those digital channels. Kind of once you've inspired them to visit a destination, you can help them making their trip a reality by making the booking process seamless. This is somewhere that Google products like Maps or Google Business Reviews or your profile can really help. Nearly 1 in 2 leisure travelers self-report using Google throughout every stage of their trip. I know that Google Business Reviews are critically important to me. That's how I ended up at the Tenfold Biscuit restaurant yesterday for breakfast, which very much deserves their 4.9 stars on Google, but it worked out well. So in conclusion, we do not claim to have all of the solutions, but we hope we've given you some food for thought in terms of prioritizing your resources and your strategies. Overcoming this kind of say-do gap is not easy, but insights like these can help you building a bridge. By leveraging this behavioral insights, you can really turn travelers' resolutions and wanting to go somewhere into reality, and then meet their needs before they're even articulated. That way, you can bring them from next year, I really want to go to Myrtle Beach, to wow, that trip to Myrtle Beach was like amazing. Let me tell everyone I know on a YouTube short. So thanks everyone for the time today, and thanks to the Myrtle Beach team. The event has been going so smoothly. It's really nice to be here. I hope you learned something new and were inspired to take action. We have the same goal, essentially, of giving travelers an unforgettable experience, so I'm excited for what's to come. If you'd like to stay in touch or are interested in any of the products that I mentioned today, just to learn more about kind of how they can help you in an organic search result, feel free to scan the QR code and we can be in touch. But have a great rest of the day, and thanks again.